Today, what we're going to be talking about is the secrets to building a high converting landing page. Now, why is the landing page so important? Well, here's the reality is before people see your offer, they have to opt into your funnel. And a high converting landing page means more people see your offer. So in other words, let's say you have a webinar funnel or a funnel where people opt in for something for a training or something like that. You're going to send a bunch of people to the page. Like you can get a bunch of people to click over to your first page in your funnel, send a bunch of people there to come check it out. And so let's say that through advertising, through social media posts, through your email list, through all these different things, you get 1,000 people to click and land on that first page in your funnel. But let's say only 100 of them actually opt into the training or actually opt in and put their name and email in and take that first step. Well, that means then the group of people that you're actually speaking to and you're actually marketing to and you're actually putting your offer in front of isn't 1,000. It's actually only 100. And then out of that, well, maybe you did a really great job with those 100 and you still got 10 customers. But let's think about it. What if this 1,000 people, what if you got 20% of them to convert and put their name and email address? And if you did the same great job down here on the bottom end, now instead of 100 prospects, you'd be looking at 220 customers. So again, no one's even going to see your offer. No one's going to see your marketing message. No one's going to see anything that you're talking about or that you're doing unless they take the first step, unless they take that initial step to enter into your funnel. So having this, because it all filters down, so having this part be as strong as possible gives you the ability to get as many leads as possible into your funnel and gives as many possible people seeing your actual offer. Because if they hit the landing page and they don't opt in, well, they're already gone. And the money that you spent for your ads, the time that you spent on your social media posts, the time that you spent writing emails, all kind of vaporizes because you never even got them to the point of even hearing what it is that you can offer to them. So when we put together a registration page, what are the elements we need to really be thinking about? What are the elements we really need to be looking at as far as what's going into it? So there's the headline package. So there's a few things that go into the actual headline for the page. There's a video or an opening paragraph, depending on the kind of page that you have. It can be one or the other. You can do a video in there where you're talking about the things that you're doing here, or you can just have it be text-based with a paragraph that describes it in a similar way. Then there's some benefit-based bullet points that you have some things in there that describe what they're going to get, a call to action so they know what they need to do to keep going, to take the next step, something about the presenter if it's a training, or about the creator if it's a resource. So if it's whatever it is that you're asking them to take the next step of opting in for, who is this person that created it? Who is this person that's talking to me, that's making this offer? We need a little bit of information about that. And then in the bottom of the page, you need your privacy policy and terms of service in the footer. So let's talk about these individually. Now, the headline package. What is the headline package? The headline package really consists of 3 components. There's a pre-headline, the actual headline, and then the post headline. Now, the pre-headline is what really kind of calls out your audience. It's like, who should be reading this? Who are the people that should be paying attention to this page? And for example, attention, authors who want more book sales. That would be an example of a pre-headline. And it's usually in a little smaller font than the actual headline. And it's just something so that people know, like, oh, hey, this is for me, or hey, this isn't for me. So people will know very quickly, like, whether or not they should keep reading. And it's a way, because at the end of the day, you want to call out the right audience. You want to call out the right people who are definitely interested in proceeding down this path and learning more that would really be a good fit for you. So you want to call those people out. You want to call out your audience so that they know, oh, I should pay attention to this. And then, and the bigger text right below the pre-headline would be the actual headline itself. Now, this headline, there's 2 things that need to go into every single headline. It needs to be very benefit driven, and it needs to be infused with curiosity. So in other words, if I read your headline, it has to let me know that what's in it for me. What is that thing? Why should I care about this? Is this important to me? Why is this something that I should be paying attention to? What's the value for me in continuing to read this page and to continue to go down it and to learn more? And it needs to have curiosity to it. Like, if this is something that I read and like, oh, I already know what this is, I've heard about this before, it's the same thing I've read about elsewhere, then I'm tapping out. I'm already gone. I'm already no longer involved in the process, because I'm like, no, I already know what it is. I don't need to go any further. No, it needs to have some curiosity element. And one of the things that the way we do that is we hint at a unique system. And what's a unique system? A unique system is your unique way of getting the result from someone. How you are able to help somebody solve a problem, how you are able to help somebody get a result that is unique to you. It's unique to your process. It's unique to what you do. It's unique to your style. That makes them feel like, huh, this is a little different. This is a little bit of a new approach. This is a different way of looking at things. And so as a result, I want to learn more about this, because there's something different, a different way of solving the problem here. This could actually work for me. And that's what we want to hint at. That's part of the curiosity element that we want to bring in. And then the post headline is actually optional. It kind of depends on your headline. So sometimes a post headline is the smaller text, again, below the headline, that just helps further clarify the message of the headline. So if you need something that actually adds a little more detail to it, adds a little more clarity to what it is that you're claiming that you're going to offer these people through opting in and hearing your training or getting this resource that you've created for them, this is what's going to clarify. And again, post headlines, sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. It's really there if I really feel like, if, you know, without making the headline super, super long, if there's a lot I need to say, sometimes I use a post headline, which is directly beneath the headline, which clarifies the idea more, which clarifies the subject matter more. So there's more information that's really brought out. Then after that, you really have either a video, which where you're really talking to people and you're on camera and you're showing them, you're helping them with the problem that they're facing, or an opening paragraph that talks about it. Again, we're really talking about, this is the problem that they're facing. This is a problem that they're struggling with. Something's wrong, something that they're trying to overcome, something that they're trying to get a result from, but they haven't been able to do it yet. And then once we state what that problem is, then we agitate that problem a little bit by showing what that problem is really costing them. Because sometimes people will say, oh yeah, I can't figure this out, but you know, I'm okay, I won't do it. Well, as a result, you know, then they don't want to try and solve the problem. They don't even want to take the action step. We need to agitate that problem a little bit by showing them, okay, as a result of this problem, this is what's probably happening in your life. Boom, boom, boom. And we start listing out things that are really like, yeah, you know, this is my problem. I can't get this figured out. I can't get this solved. As a result, I'm really struggling here in these areas of my life. And as a result of really understanding what it's costing me, I know that this is a bigger problem that I really need to address. I can't just ignore it. I can't just push it aside. I need to actually deal with this. And then after you've agitated a problem, you hint that there's a solution that you've discovered that's unique, and it's the answer that they should have been looking for. Like, you went through this too. You had these problems as well. And this is how you discovered the solution by going through your own journey, by going through your own process. You discovered, hey, wait, I know how to do this. I know how to solve this. I know how to find the solution, and I did it. And now I want to share my secret with you. I want to share my insider knowledge. I want to share the solution that I've come up with that I know will work and it will help you as well. And so this really becomes a formula. And the formula is called problem, agitate, solve. And so you state the problem, you agitate the problem so that they really understand what it is that it's costing them, and then you solve it. You show that you have a solution for them, and to get that solution, all they need to do is opt in and get this resource, or opt in and watch this training, and that's how you're going to help them get what they're looking for. Then after that opening paragraph or opening video, we have some benefit-based bullets, if I can get the words out. And usually this is a minimum of 3, a maximum of 5. We don't want to create a huge long laundry list of them, but we want to have at least 3 really good, strong bullets that really are going to show the benefit of what they're going to learn by opting in. So this is stating a really strong benefit of what the training or resource will do for them. Why should they care? What are they going to get by opting in? What are they going to get by, giving you their name and email address? What's the value in it for them? So this is where we want to take the strongest benefits that we have, the strongest benefits that we can offer them, and put it in these bullets in very short, succinct statements so they can see the value of what it is that they're doing and share the outcome. We want to share the outcome of what you're going to be teaching and what you're going to be revealing to them. What we don't want to do is we don't want to describe the how. We want to describe the why, because again, as with anything, nobody cares how something is done until they know why they should care about something being done. So we don't want to share with them in these bullets the how we're doing it. This is my process. These are my 3 steps. I do A, I do B, and I do C. No, that's not what these bullets are for. These bullets are for trying to share with them why they need to know this, why it's important that they get this answer, why it's really critical that they learn how to do these things. And then if they want to learn the how, that's when they opt in. So we use that curiosity again. We use that curiosity to get them to say, okay, great, I do really want to learn this. I understand why this is important. This is really valuable. And now, yeah, let me opt in because I want to get this, because I think this could really help me and this could be very beneficial to me. But that's how you get them to take that next step. This is how you get them to move down that path. And then the call to action. The call to action needs to be extremely clear. It can't be confusing. You can't make it so that they don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They don't know what am I supposed to do now? Where am I supposed to go? No, very, very simple and very, very clear. It has to be something that's, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go over here and put my name and email address in. Great. And depending, again, how long your page is, usually most registration or landing pages don't need to be super long. Depends on the type of funnel that you're doing, obviously. Certain funnels, they do need to be long on, but if it's just a name and email opt-in page, most of those don't need to be super long. But again, I would include multiple buttons on that page in various strategic places for them to hit it. So they don't have to go searching. Oh, there's only one button on the page. Where is this doggone thing? And if the page didn't, they're on their phone, they're on their data plan, and it didn't load the whole page for them, they can't find the button. Just make sure that, there's easy ways for them to hit the button to opt in. And I always like including an exit pop-up where possible, so that when somebody goes to leave the page, because sometimes that's the thing that catches them. Like, oh, okay, I'm looking, oh, here it is. And it just automatically pops up when they go to leave the page. So if they don't want to opt in, all they have to do is hit the X and they can leave. But otherwise, when they first go to leave the page, it says, oh, here's your form. So it makes it super easy for them, super simple. They know exactly what to do. We don't want to make it so that they have to hunt and look for things. We want them to be really, easy. I'm making it super easy for you to follow the steps. The next part we want to talk about is a little bit about the presenter or the creator of the resource. And again, this doesn't need to be a lot. It can just simply be an image of you, an image of whoever this person is, like whoever is the presenter of the training or the creator of the resource. Have a picture there so that people can understand, well, this is who I'm dealing with. This is the person that I'm going to be learning from. This is the person who created this, so I can have a little bit of an understanding of the connection here of who it is that I'm looking at. And either a really short paragraph or 3 to 4 bullets that kind of outline and describe why you are qualified to speak or create a resource on this topic. Again, doesn't need to be, don't be intimidated by this, but if you're training on something, there needs to be a reason why. There needs to be something out there that says, oh, well, this is why I'm experienced in this area. I've worked in this field for 20 years, and I've worked with all sorts of business owners, or I've worked with all sorts of patients, or all sorts of people who I coached all sorts of people. Just say why it is that again, don't worry about the fact that there's someone else out there that's going to have better qualifications for you, because guess what? That's always going to be true. There's always going to be people out there that are better qualified than you. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that to be completely honest. There's always someone more qualified for you, but just give some good reasons as to why that you should be listened to, why you are a person that actually knows what they're talking about. And this isn't some just person who just randomly decided one day to start yapping about a topic that, you know, they really don't know anything about. Then at the bottom of the page, and again, this is the least glamorous part, but especially if you're going to be running ads, if you're going to be sending traffic to this page, it's really kind of become a requirement that you need to have your privacy policy at the minimum, and possibly or a terms of service linked in there. And these are just really legal terms that describe legal documents and terms describing how you do business and how you collect data and so forth. And what I really recommend doing, I don't think you need to go out and hire a lawyer. I don't think you need to go out and hire somebody special to create a whole new special unique document just for you. What I really recommend is that you go in and you just find people who are in your space. Find people who, other service providers that are also doing the things that you are doing, and just go grab their document, download it, and just rewrite it according to you. Take out all their information that's really unique to them, and maybe do 2 or 3 of those. And that's how I've created multiple privacy policies and terms of services. I've just gone out and downloaded other people's, said, I like this section of theirs. That part doesn't make sense for us, but the other part from this other person, that makes sense. And I recreate a document, a legal document based on that. Again, nobody really is going to sit here and spend a lot of time going in depth through these things. It's more of a checkbox item that as long as you have it on your page, then you've checked the box. Yep, it's there. It's valid. It's in place. And you just insert a link to it in the footer at the very bottom of the page. So it's not something that takes up space. It's not something that's taking up a lot of, real estate on the page. You just have to have it there so that you can make sure that you're okay to promote things to the page. You can run ads, you can do different things, you can do promotions, and they're not going to give you, the providers aren't going to give you any hassle or any problems. So once we do this, how do we know if we're doing a good job? How do we know if we're getting good results with our landing page? What are some targets? So I always use a minimum opt-in rate of 20%. So again, and that's usually from like cold traffic. In other words, if I'm doing posts or ads on Facebook to people that I don't know, I don't already have an existing relationship with, these are not necessarily people who are already on an email list. These aren't necessarily people I've already had previous engagements with. These are just cold traffic. I really always want to try and stay above that 20% mark. Now, you can go a lot higher than 20%. I'm just going to be really honest with you. I've had times where I was in the low 70% range. So you can get really, really high on this if you do a good job on your landing page. But think about that. If 7 out of 10 people that I send to the page opt in for the training or for the resource, think about how many more leads I'm getting per dollar spent than if I only did 20% or 10% or worse. I mean, that's where I'm really now getting so much more bang for my buck. So always try and have that as your bottom threshold. You don't want to have less than 20% of people opting in. And if you're not hitting this target, there's 3 things you really need to be looking at. One is you need to be looking at your marketing or your advertising pieces. What is it that you're posting? What is the content that you're posting? Are you just posting content that maybe when somebody clicks on your social media post or your ad, they're clicking on it and then they get to your page and it's not what they thought it was going to be. Maybe they get to the page, oh, this isn't what I thought, and then they bail, so they're not opting in. Is your marketing piece just not congruent? Is it not connecting well? Are you not getting your message out very well? So look at your ad, look at the marketing pieces that you're doing. You look at the advertising pieces. Are you communicating well for the person that you're trying to reach, for the person that you're trying to get to opt in? And then look at the audience that you're marketing to. Now, if you're just marketing in general by putting social media posts out, you don't have as much control over this. But if you're doing an ad, you can have very much control over who you're showing your ad to. So if you're showing your ad to a group of people that maybe aren't ideal, maybe these are not the ideal audience that you want to be talking to. Maybe this isn't the right group of people, so that when they're clicking, they're not really the right audience. They're not really the people who are needing this help. And that will have a huge impact on your opt-in rate. So think about that. Think about the audience. Who am I speaking to? Am I in front of the right group of people? You know, I've used this example many times. You may be selling women's shoes and you may have the best shoes at the best prices out there in the market. But if you're marketing yourself to people like me or to a group of men, you're going to get a very bad rate, a very bad conversion rate. Well, why? Because your audience is wrong. You're speaking to the wrong group of people. You need to speak to females who are looking or in the market to get a new pair of shoes. I mean, that's where you need to keep your focus on getting to that right audience. And that is critical, because the vast majority of people in the world will not be interested in what you're doing. And that's not a slam. That's just how the economy works. So keep that in mind. Make sure you got your audience dialed in. And then if both of those you feel pretty solid about, and you're like, yeah, I really think my communication is good, I think I'm hitting a good audience, then it's time to go back and look at your landing page. Then it's like looking at that landing page and saying, hey, is my headline strong enough? Is it really benefit focused enough? Do I have enough curiosity built in? And to go through all the things that we just been talking about. Am I really doing all these things well enough? And that's where you then need to spend your time. How can I rewrite the copy to make it more engaging? How can I rewrite this information so that this is really going to drive people to take that action step? Those are the three areas. So again, we always want to try and be 20% and above. That, again, 20% is kind of my floor level. And if you're not hitting it, these are the three things I recommend working on and looking at, because that's really where you're going to be able to make the most difference in upping your opt-in rate. And again, the more people you get to opt in, the more people who you offer, the better chance you have of getting someone to buy. So that's the training for today. Hopefully that all made sense, and hopefully, you know, the training was, you know, something that you're getting. Yes. So let's look at some questions here. So I like this one. I've seen this one from April before. This headline.
I love that. I thought that was great.
That is a very engaging headline, and I think that is a good, a good way of grabbing someone's attention. But as a headline itself, what is one of the things that's missing? What do you see, Chris?
Now you're putting me on the spot.
That's all right. That's all right. I probably shouldn't have put you on the spot like that. But one of the things that I'm seeing here is, what's the benefit?
Oh, right. I was going to say, because I'm like, it's evident that it's for parents, so that part's clear.
That's
it's
clear.
Curiosity based. So yeah, the benefit, right?
Yeah. What's again? Yuck! Your breath smells like poo. That's a great hook.
Yeah,
that is a really good hook. That I would use as a hook, because what you're going to do is you're going to grab. That's going to cause someone to say, "What? You know, yuck! Your breath smells like poo." Yeah. Well, yes. That has anyone who's a parent, anyone who has had young children, has had moments like that where your kid says something and you're in a store or you're in church or you're like, oh no, what just came out of their mouth? Oh, shoot. That was embarrassing. Like, what just happened? So that's a really good hook, because that is going to be something that parents have. But the thing that I'm not seeing in there is, what's the benefit for me to keep reading? So I think what you have there, April, is a really good hook. I think that's something that's really going to pull people in. That's really going to cause people to grab and want to pay attention. But if to get people to go and keep reading, to keep learning, and to keep doing more, we need a benefit. We need something there that's going to cause them to be like, oh yeah, this is why I need to keep reading. This is what's in it for me. Yeah. So I think that would be one thing. And again, that's why you have a great attention grabber, but you know, we need to make sure that we're getting things so that people know why they should care. Why is this important? Why should they keep reading? What's in it for them? So that's really the big things. The headlines are so important. They're so important, because if somebody reads your headline and they're not getting and grasping that moment of like, oh shoot, you're like, this is why I need to care about this, the rest of the copy doesn't get read. Like if you've ever seen a post where there's like a list of headlines with news articles and you're reading through the headlines, only certain ones get clicked on. Well, the ones that get clicked on are the ones that had a benefit to me of something that was important to me. Like, oh, I want to learn about this. Okay, I click on that headline. Or other ones I look at and go, yeah, no, I'm not interested. So
No, that makes a lot of sense, because I think, you know, as I read that, I'm thinking, okay, so my question actually was, when I saw that, I loved it, right? The hook and everything. My question was, what is this about, right? That's my next question is, are you going to help me in my parenting so that my kids don't act up in social settings publicly? You know, you're right. I mean, I think one thing, David, I think I find for myself and other people that I talk to, it's like, it's so easy to kind of get blind to this, because we know what we're talking about, right? We know our topic. So it's trying to look at it from the other person's perspective, and the visitor to your site, and to realize you've got like, what, 3 to 5 seconds really attention span these days for viewership on your site. So it's got to be catchy. It's got to be quick, right? For people to really grab onto it.
Right. And I would even consider, like in April's case, using that as like copy on an image for an ad or a post, because that will stop you in your scroll, right?
Sure.
You're scrolling down and you see an image of a kid maybe pulling a face or something, and like face of a kid, and then the text is, yuck, your breath smells like poo. So that's a really good hook. So that's going to stop my scroll, right? Sure. And then I want to read the rest, but that's where the headline then needs to be, why is this something that's important to me? Why do I need to, what's the benefit for me in proceeding and continuing to click over to your landing page to keep reading? That's where the headline needs to have more benefit focused. So what she did is a great job of creating a hook. That is a great hook.
Yeah.
And it really is.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I agree. And I think, you know, one of the things that I keep thinking about, and you and I've talked about offline even, and probably on these videos, that just the idea that, you know, there's a lot of people in our group right here that have great things to offer, product, services, a message, whatever they're doing. And then you realize that the bridge between somebody that doesn't know about that and getting that is your landing page, it's your headline, it's all this that you just talked about. And all of a sudden you realize, oh my goodness, marketing is my gap right here, or my copywriting on my landing page is my gap, or whatever. So folks, this is really important stuff. I hope you really kind of even slowly go through this and then kind of review your landing page, your homepage, because what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Are you really being successful at it based on these things? Because I know for me, it's like, I feel like it's a constant refinement. It's a constant, thing. I'm going, okay, is that what I get, or is that what a visitor that doesn't know anything about me or my thing get,
Yeah, you got to stack it heavy in the visitor's favor. I mean, you really got to take off the service provider hat of the person who's trying to being on your side, but you really got to put on the hat of someone who's on the other side. How could I state this in such a way that this is so valuable to them that they're going to want to definitely proceed? And so I really think that Yeah, that to me is a huge step in terms of being able to keep going and getting people to go into your funnel. Because again, like I said, you quickly realize, like, if you're going to spend $1,000 to get 1,000 people to click over your website, you want as many of those people as possible actually going through the funnel.
Yeah.
Because like if you've lost the vast majority of them at the start line, well, shoot, now all that money is gone. And I got nothing for it. I didn't get an email address. I didn't get them to watch the training. I didn't even hear the offer. So this page is so important. It is so hugely important, because this is how everything starts here at the beginning. And you got to get as many people as possible coming through that funnel, so that your odds of getting, because it just increases your odds of making a sale. It really does. So that's really huge. And just, again, getting that messaging right. And that really is the key between success and failure, is people have to get the messaging right. And you're right. There's so many people in the group that have a wonderful product or service that they've created. They are so good at this thing, but where they're struggling is, how do I message that to the world so that people can truly grasp the value of what I'm doing here, of what I'm offering, so that they can then in turn see the benefit of it and want to do this. That's where the struggle comes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, I heard it recently again, but I've heard it many times that, good marketing message, even on a bad product or an inferior product to what you offer, can outsell you any day of the week, So it's really like, think about all the as seen on TV type things. You go to, you actually get a lot of those things if you're sold on them, and you're like, this isn't really very high quality, but they do a great job on the front end marketing to get it to you, So I think that's where a lot of us struggle in this journey of understanding marketing and learning this online world is, I talk to people regularly that are frustrated. Like, I created this thing and I have this course, or I wrote this book, or whatever it is. And it's like, how do I get it to people? How do I get out there? And I think so much of it does come to this, right? It's not the only piece. The landing page, that you got to get, an ad or some kind of thing to get them to get into the landing page. But if they come there and they're not converting, then that becomes where you dig in here. So there's so many multifaceted things that are about this, that I think that we get so focused on the product or the service or the message of what we do, and yet we kind of lose sight of, or we don't know even how to focus on this area.
I agree. And again, it's all about communication. It's all about how to effectively communicate it. There are really, 3 keys to being able to make a funnel work. Is your funnel, first of all, you have to have the funnel working correctly. You have to have all the pages set up right. You have to have the flow of it working correctly so everything goes well. Then on those pages, you have to have good copy that communicates the vision, communicates the message effectively and well. And then the last leg of the stool is, I need to get people to the page. I got to keep getting eyeballs on it so people can keep going through it and they can keep engaging. And so, yes, that's all. If you're not getting it right, if it's not working, it's one of those 3 legs of the stool that's faltering.
Do you find, David, that, like, let's say, somebody's drafting up their landing page or trying to reconfigure it or work on it like this, do you think that having, like, maybe a few people around you that, just say, would you go look at this and give me your initial impressions, your feedback, just does it, give me some thoughts, just
right.
I mean, obviously you want to make sure that they understand your audience if they're not your audience, I guess, for sure. But sometimes I think we're just blind to it personally. We're so used to it, right?
Oh, I one of the primary things that I am fully believing in is that you need a group of people, of coaches, of a community of people who will literally speak to or call you, maybe.
Yeah, naturally they got a call.
I'm just gonna roll with the call part of it, but a group of people who will give you another perspective. You have to have that. You have to have people who will come in and will give you honest feedback. That's why I've been part of multiple masterminds. That's why I'm part of other coaching groups. That's why I hire a coach. This is why I do all these things, because I cannot tell you how many times they've spotted something that I, for whatever reason, was totally blind to. I was not seeing it. I was not seeing that this is something here that I'm missing. And then they saw it, and all of a sudden it fixed it. It fixed so many of the problems. So yeah, if you try and do this all by yourself, you only have one set of eyeballs on your work. You only have one set of, you're the only one looking at it, working on it. Unless you are like super, super, super skilled at this and have many years of experience, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. You need additional eyes. You need additional support. And that's, you know, why Design Launch Grow is here, to help people, help each other, help us all kind of, you know, work with each other, to help, you know, to help us all be able to, you know, chip in, to give insight, ideas, you know, to give different things that people can get help with and to get different comments on, so you can see things that maybe you just didn't see, you know, because when you are the person that's so familiar with the process, you do have blind spots. It's like you assume things. You assume things are there. And for somebody that's just starting out, they don't see it. They don't have that knowledge. So,
well, even just what you did with April's headline there, right? I mean, you saw something missing right there that I was missing. You know, as I was looking at it, I was hooked on the curiosity side of it, right, and the target audience, but was missing that that benefit element wasn't in that statement that she gave us there. So sometimes, folks, we just need, like I said, like David just said, we have blind spots. We don't know what we don't know. Sometimes we just are so into it that we're almost like just tired of it, and so we don't even know how to tweak it or adjust it or whatever. So
that never happens. No.
It's like you just want to get it out there, right, and get it done. And then, but I think what I find, David, is I think there are just a lot of folks, especially in the early part of their journey, who find themselves kind of feel like they're banging their head against the wall because people aren't clicking, and it's tempting to give up, right? It's tempting to think, well, maybe my book, maybe my product, maybe my service, maybe it's just not valuable. And I had to battle through that a little bit and go, you know what? It's really not that. That's when I really started I went from hating marketing, literally just within the last 4 to 6 months, to saying, you know what? This is actually the area that I need to grow in, so that I can get my book into people's hands, so that I can get new coaching clients, so that I can help more people, because it wasn't that what I have to offer, what I've created isn't good. It's that I've always said, even from when I go to business type of engagements, I'm like, if I can get to the meeting to talk to somebody about the coaching services I can provide to their company, I have a great closing rate, and a success rate of when I get to the meeting. But I've got to get to the meeting first.
Right.
And I think the same is online. Getting to the meeting is you got to get them to the landing page. And then the landing page has to get them to say, yeah, I want to opt in. I want to get my email address and get that lead magnet. I want to get that thing. And so we have to look at it that way. And I think a lot of people kind of depersonalize online business because it's not face-to-face with somebody. Mm-hmm. And I think that what you're saying is, your landing pages, the funnel pages, the steps of the funnel, we have to think of it as the conversation, right?
Right. It is. It's absolutely. This is the way that we can connect with people that we would have never otherwise meet. This is our way of reaching out to an audience that, it could be in a different city, could be in a different state, or even a different country, that we could suddenly serve this customer that we may have never crossed paths with otherwise. But the process is the same. We have to always remember this process doesn't change. We're still all people. We all still have those types of human being needs. And so we have to still build our funnels abiding by those needs. We have to still work the process the same.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks for doing this training today. I know, folks, this is one of those things where, like I said, go kind of watch this, and you can even pause, in the replay and everything, and just kind of go back to your landing page and see, okay, am I hitting these things? Do I have each of these components? Is it something that I need to work on? Do I need to adjust my copywriting? Do I need to make sure this is added? Am I just missing something? And then also, throw it out there and ask people, can you give me your feedback? Does this make sense to you? Ask some friends, ask some family members, ask, like I said, if you know that if you're targeting in April's case there, if there's some parents that you're trying to reach, ask a few parents and say, would you just glance at this and tell me what you think? Give me some feedback. Because most people around us that we already have a relationship with, they can give us good feedback for free, essentially, rather than wasting ad dollars to find out it's not working. So so use the people around you and use this group. Ask people to help you as well. I just love kind of reviewing what people do sometimes and going, oh, that makes sense, or that doesn't, or I just ask a question or two, or people ask me a question about something, and it's like, oh, okay, I think you're right. I could say that a little bit differently or a little bit better. And it's kind of like our landing pages are almost like living documents where, you kind of keep tweaking and refining, right?
Right. And everyone can see them. So we want to make them the best that we can.
Yep.